As we get started, Dr. Martinez and I wanted to just give you a few overarching thoughts about what we're doing in a class like this, because this is an integrative class, and so we want you to know a little bit about our educational philosophy and how we are thinking about what we'll be doing together and what we'll be looking at together. The first thing we want to say to you is just a recognition that people mean many things when they use the word leader or leadership. And so one of the important things that we try to do in this class is talk about that and help you come to a steady, settled understanding of what you mean when you say leadership, what you mean when you say someone is a leader, when you're trying to be a leader, when you're learning about leadership. It's a complicated thing. There's a lot of information about that out there. Part of what that means is that we will deal with theories about leadership and want to expand your understanding of what different scholars mean when they use the word leader and when they're talking about leadership. And we'll give you some expansive kind of definitions and help us work on that. We don't only want to do that because we think that theory without practice, without embodying things, doesn't help us actually learn deeply and become who we want to be. Part of those are theological convictions, part of those are educational convictions. And so we work with an educational theory called praxis. We'll move from theory to practice and back to theory in a couple of ways in this class. And we'll talk about that and help you think about how you learn, how you want to learn, what you think it means actually to learn. So look for that. Look for theory, action, reflection on things that we'll ask you to do in this class, and not just learning theory, although certainly a deep engagement with theory. We also recognize that there are different levels of learning when it comes to particularly theory. We want you to learn the theory when we talk about theory, which means we can say it, and when we say it, maybe the person who wrote the book would say, yes, that is what I said. That doesn't mean we agree with it. That doesn't mean we disagree with it. It means we're accurately reflecting what we have come to understand and can say it back to a person in a way that they would say, yes, that is exactly what I was working on doing. We also want to engage theory, and part of that will happen as we look at the Strengths Finder and we think about ways that it can inform us, but also maybe ways that you as a up-and-coming leader, as someone who's moving into leadership, can use tools like that to in your own practice of leadership and practice of ministry. We are aware, though, that this is graduate level education, and so we expect and want to, with you, not only learn theory, not only extend theory and put it into practice, but also learn how to critique and extend theory beyond what it may say, to think about what next steps are. We think that's a goal of graduate education. We don't move just to critique, though. The very first thing we'll do is learn it. Then we want to engage it so we can really embody it and look how to put it into practice, and then we can move to the critique or the extending of theory into what's next for the kinds of learning that we want to do together. We also want you to know that this is an integrative class, and as it's one of your first classes in seminary, you are learning the skills of integration for graduate level theological education, and we want to work with you on that. So we will work in this particular class on theology. What do we believe? What do we believe about God? And also on organizational theory, psychology, sociology, and practical skills. So it's a number of disciplines that we work to bring together in ways that can form us as leaders for rapidly changing environments. Part of what that means is that there will be several big issues that we'll ask you to engage and think about during this class. One of those is, how do you conceptualize leadership? What do you mean when you say that word? And what does that mean for how you will embody leadership as a nonprofit leader, or as a pastor, or as a ministry director in a church, or wherever God takes you? What do you believe about God's agency, particularly in leadership? One of the things that we've discovered is that many theories of leadership, they've got a lot of human agency, but they don't directly articulate where and how God is active in what we are doing or in the world. And we want to name that with you, look at that, talk about that, and start to give you the skills to think about what you believe about how God is active in and through your ministry. Leadership also involves us thinking about what we believe about our own agency. How is our own activity engaged where can we be active? People who are passive or who think of themselves as victims find themselves struggling to think of themselves as leaders. And so we want to work with you about what you believe about your own agency in where you are now and also in the future, and to start to ask with you the questions, what do you want to learn in seminary? So you're on a 3 or 4 year journey as you start this class with us. We're excited about that. We look forward to engaging that with you, and we want to help you frame questions and threads that you will follow through seminary. It's a great joy to get to do that with you, and Dr. Martinez and I look forward to engaging these kinds of broad questions in this integrative class.